my foster dog got adopted yesterday, and I thought I'd be really, really upset or really just okay with it, and it's not that black or white. And I'm gonna tell you the story. A lot of people that know me have asked me how I would feel when Stella got adopted. Stella is a 3-year-old Basset Hound Boxer mix that I've been fostering for about a month and a half. I had her, and everybody knows how emotional I am, how much I love my animals, and thought it would be really, really hard for me, and kind of seemed a little disjointed when I told them, I feel like we're not the right home for her, and I think it'll be okay. So to back up, I kind of need to tell you how this all came about. So I had 3 dogs just a year and a half ago. I had them for a very long time. I got Dart and Chloe in 2005, and boop, boop, pictures. Because hello, foster rescue story, you're getting cute pictures, lots of them. So I had Dart for 13 years, and he died in November of 2017, and it was really sad. He had pneumonia. They said he was okay, and then a few days later he wasn't doing well, and I took him to the doctor, and he died on the table at the appointment as they were about to take his blood. So that was really sucky, right? And scroll forward 13 months forward, this last December, Chloe had a heart condition. She was 15 at this point. She was a little Jack Russell, adorable, and she had arthritis, and I had taken her into the vet, and they said it was her arthritis was bugging her, but got home and she was acting really weird, and I took her, sorry, I've never told this on camera before. I took her, they said it was arthritis. She said she was fine. She came home, she was acting weird. I was like, if she keeps acting weird, I'll take her back. Well, that day I got home, and she had a giant gash across her neck, and she got into a fight with my Chiweenie, and I rushed her to the ER. She had a punctured trachea, which is insane because they had been kenneled together forever and ever. I got Anya in 2011, and they'd been kenneled together after Dart died for 13 months. Regardless of how it happened, I had to figure out, what to do. So she had surgery. She had a trach tube put in, and they kept calling me from the surgery saying there were complications. She was filling with air. They weren't sure she was going to make it with the amnesia because she was so old, and she did make it, but they needed to keep her overnight for observation. The next day I had to go get her, and she didn't seem herself at all. She was trying to run away. She was scared. She seemed out of it. She was all full of air. She had the trach tube in, and then I took her to a regular vet who watched her on medical observation all day. And the vet kept calling me and saying her mentation isn't right, which at the time I was like so freaked out. I didn't know what the hell, she was talking about. Basically her brain, something was wrong with her brain. And she goes, I think the surgery, I think the anesthesia, I think something messed her up. And I was like, no, she was acting weird before. Like she was running circles in the yard, like strategic circles, like just weird. And so they came to realize that she probably was having dementia. She was pacing, she was doing weird things besides the arthritis, and that's probably what caused her to pick the fight with Anya. And Anya, of course, was just defending herself. My brother says she knew she was ready to die. She knew she was ready to peace out, and so she was like, I'm just gonna start a fight. Which is an interesting way to look at it. But anyway, so when I went to pick her up, she could barely walk. She was not there. She was there, but she wasn't there. She knew it was me. And I sat there and I thought over and over and over, if I keep her, and here's what we were looking at, okay? We were looking at permanent care for probably a week of all day hospitalized supervised care at the vet, and then all night supervised care at the emergency clinic. After which they would do a second surgery to remove the trach tube, after which she would have a recovery. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way she could ever be herself again. You know, I could have sunk hundreds and hundreds more dollars into it and she wouldn't have been okay, and I knew it. And I just kept saying to myself that keeping her in misery was only selfish. It was only for me. And so I had to let her go. And that was December 7th of 2018. And not long after that, a couple weeks after that, I volunteer at a local rescue, which I think I've mentioned before. And they had a real need for a foster for a senior cat. And, you know, the senior thing scared me because what I'd just been through. But I was like, yeah, it's cool. And Chloe was a nightmare with cats. Jack Russells, if you don't know this, literally trying to hunt them down. And she gave more than one cat, basically made them shit themselves, like, because she would hunt them down. So could never have them. Wasn't sure about the Anya, the tweenie, how she would do. And she actually did great. Like, her and the cat are cool. Like, they're pretty much the same size, which is really funny. They're like the same size, but the cat's only like 5-6 pounds and Anya's like 12. And so that was all going good. The cat has kidney problems, has had health problems, and but she's pretty much a forever foster. Like, she's pretty much with me in her final home. And after that, there was a need for a foster dog. And that's where we come back to our story. So her name is Stella, and she's 3 years old, loves to run in the snow, and sweet, sweet dog. And everybody said, how can you give her up? Why aren't you adopting her? And there were a lot of reasons. And the first was the cat, Missy, she stopped coming out of her room as much. She wasn't quite as comfortable because the dog is adorable, but she's a bull in a china shop. Like, she'll wiggle her butt and she'll hit you and she'll lay her head on you, and she's gigantic and like so cute. And also, just in my heart, I'm not ready. I can't, when I commit to a pet, I commit to a pet for life. I'm never gonna return that pet. And so we're just not ready. Anya's not ready to take on a full-time brother or sister dog, and I'm not ready. And also, she had some training issues, some accidents, and I wasn't ready for that. You know, I still in my mind was teetering, and I was like, is this, you know? And then we met her family. We had a few fails. We had some requests that came through that I was like, I don't know about that. She was a really timid dog. There was a request to make her a therapy dog. And then when I met her family, the mom had warned me over and over, my son is autistic. He gets scared of new places, gets scared of new things. Well, that was also Stella's issue. Stella got really scared. The first night she was here, she hid under the bed, and she got used to us and she got really comfortable, but new places scared her. And this little boy had the same issue, but the minute they saw each other, like, he didn't get upset, he didn't start crying, he started jumping up and down. He was so excited. And so I knew it was right, and I knew they were the right family. And I knew when she emailed me very shortly after saying we definitely want to adopt her, that was the right thing. So I wasn't like all that concerned, and everybody thought it was weird. They're like, why aren't you, freaking out? And I said, it's hard, I'll miss her, but I feel like it's right. And so the day of the adoption, I was getting ready, and I was starting to get this anxious pit in my stomach. And that I would be really upset. And when I left, Anya was in the kennel, and she started screaming bloody murder. And I said, please let her be okay. Please let her be okay. Because I was pretty sure, like 99% sure, she was just being a baby because Stella got to go somewhere and she didn't. But there was this part of me, like, Dart left, he never came back. Chloe left, she never came back. But Missy was still here, and she's way tighter with the cat than she ever was with Stella. I mean, they were cool together, but they didn't super bond, which is another reason why I felt like the adoption was the right thing to do. And so when I got home, they were fine. Like this morning we had, you know, a little bit of issue because Stella's been dealing with IBS, or not Stella, Missy's been dealing with IBS, and Anya kind of like regurgitated a little this morning, but I honestly think she just has a cold. So we're doing good, and it was the right thing, and the anxiety went away as soon as the adoption happened. As soon as I saw that little boy come in and they're like, do you remember, you know, and he's like, puppy, and I was like, oh yes, you know. So if you're wondering what the foster experience is like, it's, yeah, there are a lot of foster fails. There are a lot of times where people end up keeping the animals, but I feel like once you're in the situation, you know what's right, you know what that animal needs, and you know, you just have to evaluate what you're able to give and how you can help that rescue animal. And whether you foster them, whether you end up keeping them, whether you help them find the right family, then you're helping no matter what. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please click the like below. Thank you for listening today. If you have any questions about fostering, be sure to put them down in the comments below, and have a great day.